Monogamy is one standard deviation away from being a homosexual. And let me digress. So I need to put this on record, what monogamy is, and give perspective to how people view it. I'm also going to highlight some of the subliminal messaging that it sends to society, and most importantly, to your woman, to your girlfriend, or to your wife. So, just to create some form of perspective, I'm going to ask a hypothetical question, right? Or do a quick logic check so we're all on the same accord. So if you was rich, would you have one car? Would you have one house? Would you have one bank account? Well, if you have any wherewithal, your answer should be a resounding no. You would have multiple. Why is that? Let me elaborate. You would have more than one car because you have the ability to afford it. It's not about being fancy. It's not about being flash. It's about having things just in case. Just having things for the sake of having them and displaying opulence, right? Or materialism or consumerism. That's a whole nother kettle of fish. I would speak for myself. Maybe some of you will agree or disagree. But if I was wealthy, I would have two cars because I'll have one car as my main car, right? Which I use to do all my bits and pieces, which I use to travel in. And then I might have one car that's like the show off car, the car where I want to go somewhere important or go to somewhere where it's fancy if I'm rich, because I'm sure I would be in that sort of scenario where I would have to attend events or work or anything to do connected to my career. And I think that's very rational, and that's a valid reason, right, to have multiple vehicles, right? You wouldn't have just one house. Why? Because you're about your money. You're rich, right? So you're going to have a house that you live in, which you're comfortable in, which is, convenient for every aspect of your life. And then you may have another house that you don't even live in, that you rent out to someone that can afford it, so that you have some passive income. You see how simple it is? It doesn't have to be complicated. Why would you have one bank account? This is foolish. You will have one bank account, right? And then let's say something happens to you or something goes wrong. Then now you have no bank account. So where's your money going to come from? See, it doesn't make sense. You would need to have multiple bank accounts so that you can set up some form of, ISA account or some form of account where you could gain interest and more residual income, right? And then you'll have another account which you use to buy things, where you'll have a debit account where you're buying things. I don't believe in credit personally. I'm somebody that I believe in you should only buy what you can afford. But in this hypothetical, we're talking about a rich man, aren't we? So now we have to ask the question, why would you only have one woman? And now this doesn't mean you have to be rich to feel like this or think like this. But I'll give you your answer. And it's something some of us are already aware of anyway. It's because you're poor. You are in poverty, abject poverty, especially in regards to your SMV. Now, to clarify, I don't expect a rich man to be married. In fact, I expect a rich man to only rent or lease women, especially if he wants to maintain his wealth, because we know for a fact that most men who fall from grace or get their finances destroyed, the majority of the time, excluding their own vices, whether it's gambling or drugs or money mismanagement. And to be fair, I'm not even going to use money mismanagement, because I would say that getting married and signing that paperwork and being tied to the opposite gender in that way where you can be perceived to be a family, that should also fall into your money mismanagement, because you're not aware of what you stand to lose. And I know that box isn't that sweet. I think you're lonely. I think you're desperate. And there's a lot of rich gumps that exist, so they aren't even exempt, right? But I said this previously. I've said it in my previous video. I've said it multiple times across this channel. If you are rich, your whole purpose should be to realize that now you no longer need a woman. Now you have the ability to order them like their pizza. You have turned sex into a commodity. It has now become something which you can access the same way you order food. And this video isn't about promoting escort maxim, but I'm sorry, I have to throw it in there when I can. Why should a rich man not go through his Pokedex, scroll through his Pokedex and find a Venezuelan, find a Ukrainian, right? Find the Eritrean or Ethiopian and order her like a pizza. Pay for the flight, get her to come down for a couple days and send her back to the streets so she could continue in her filthy ways, making money on her back. But at least you get to enjoy it. At least you're not tied in. At least you're not locked down. That is the whole point. This is the nature of the beast. And having a girlfriend and being monogamous, I've heard guys in these spaces for quite a while now claiming that it's some form of ascension. No, it isn't. Like I said at the beginning, it's actually one step away from homosexuality. Now you might say, oh, how is that possible? Being gay is different to being in a relationship. You sound crazy, bro. Please, shut your mouth. Your ability to get your needs met is being gatekept. Do you not understand that logic? Can you not see where I'm coming from? And in many ways, you're worse off than a single man. Once you're in a relationship, you've put all of your sexual desires and needs. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe that we should try and control some aspect and element of our sexual desires and our sexual urges. But let me elaborate. You're having your sexual needs and desires gatekept by one woman. And you're actually worse off than a single man. Ask yourself, if you were in a relationship, if you were living with a woman, if you had children, if you were married, can you have a friends with benefits? Can you hit up an escort? Why do you think so many women withhold sex? I will quickly explain it, because I think a lot of guys, they process information, or they take information in from a lot of, guys in the manosphere, myself included. We'll watch videos and then we'll just hear people saying things and we kind of get emotionally invested, and as long as we like what they're saying or it speaks to the inner beast within us, then we're like, talk that shit, bro. And it's a bit meat-headed. It's a bit, I hate the term, but it is a bit low IQ. You have to look at things from a sort of a hyper analytical lens. And I know some guys don't want to overthink, but I'm not even calling it overthinking. That's doing it discredit and disservice. Many guys underthink, actually. You don't understand the calculated, manipulative nature of modern women, especially when they're in a relationship with you. It's not a labor of love for them. It is actually a business. And that's actually a phrase that I love when I hear guys saying men are in love, women are in business, because they are. Because there is no more love to give. They gave their love to the person who took their virginity. They gave their love away years ago, and they're not trying to find it. They are trying to capitalize. So you ask the married guy or the guy in a relationship, how comes you haven't got a friends with benefits? When's the last time that you've actually been, sexually active with a woman that isn't your wife or girlfriend? And this gump's going to turn around to you and say, oh, I'm morally righteous. I would never cheat on my woman. Interesting. When's the last time you hit up an escort? An escort, that's nasty. I'd never do that. Interesting. When's the last time you had sex with your wife? Oh, a couple weeks ago. There you go. That's the problem. We got him, guys. He's stunting. We got him. That's how you need to start approaching these guys, because they're all hypocrites. You're telling me if you haven't had sex for 2 weeks, some men haven't had sex for months, some men haven't had sex for years. So why are they in monogamy? It's because their wife's already set the trap. The rat traps are all over the gaff. And she knows that if she withholds sex from you, you don't know what she's doing. How do you know that she's not out having sex? Because she's the woman. You trust her, right? That's the lies you've been told. She could be playing you the whole time. She's already got the guy on the subs bench. She's already warming up. He's already taken off his fatigues. He's already got his shorts. It's game time. He's ready. He's warmed up. He's ready to grind and pound her. He's ready. And not giving you sex or not giving you sexual access is to hope that you, as they say, right? In a more romantic phrase, they're waiting for you to fall on your own sword. It's very hard for you to have friends with benefits. Why? Because you're a married man. She's already put you out there. She's been gathering information. She knows who all your friends are. She's been taking pictures and putting you up on her social media, on her Instagram, on her Facebook. You see, you fool, right? And you are there smiling and gumping, paying for these trips, being the side character because you thought you was the main character, because you've been lied to by society to believe that you're the man, you're the provider, you're the breadwinner, and that inherently makes you the main character. Where have you been for the last couple of years? We're in a gynocracy. You're not allowed to put restrictions on her. You're not allowed to put restraints on her or to make her behave in a way which is which allows her which prevents her from ending the relationship. You're not allowed to do that. You'll be called abusive. You'll be called controlling. Why can't you hit up an escort? So I'll give some leeway. Some of you guys are homosexuals, so you think that hitting up escorts immoral. And for what reason? Because you're sharing a woman. Well, you're sharing your wife, you're sharing your girlfriend. She's not a virgin. Other men have been there, and now she's settling down with you with one man because you're the safe bet and you don't know you're the beta box. You want the guy of her dreams, and even if she did have the guy of her dreams, these perverted women, they're so used to, never being satisfied, whether it's sexually, financially, or from a partner, that they're just never going to be happy with you, and they're going to be eternally seeking your replacement, eternally shit testing you, waiting to see a weakness, waiting to see one hole in the boat so that they could jump ship. And these guys never see it coming. They never see that sucker punch coming when these women jump ship. Why do you think they watch all these Netflix shows? Right? You might think, oh, yeah, because they like fantasy. They're looking at the Netflix hunks. It's like porn to them, right? They like to have their psyche massaged with tales of a tall, dark, handsome man sweeping a woman off her feet. They like to watch these silly programs and these silly series to see, oh, look at him, he's so attractive. But you think they're interested in the story. They don't care about the law. Have you ever seen a woman, right? Any woman watching YouTube channels like CZ's World or Found Flicks, where they really dig deep into the lore of films? You know them channels. I'm a nerd. I got some nerd in me. I watch all of those sorts of things where they go into the deeper psychological aspects of the films or of the TV series, and they explore the deeper lore. Women don't care about that stuff. They could watch a whole series and they only remember a few parts. They don't care about what was the director's Easter eggs or hidden morals from the episode or from this particular scene. They don't think that deeply. They're watching it because it's tantalizing. It's erotica, right? That's the correct term for it. It's erotica to them. And you're allowing her to do that in a relationship. But if you sit down and you want to watch some bad bitches get humped, get beat down on Pornhub, right? Now all of a sudden, oh, you're cheating on me because she's doing the same thing. This is gynocentrism. It makes me laugh, right? And I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to keep things a bit guarded today. I watched something. You lot are getting a lot of videos, right? You lot are getting a lot of videos, right? I got a lot on my chest, but I saw something that pissed me off, and I'm not going to give it any credit because it's not a YouTuber that any of you would know. I just saw something, it pissed me off, and I just thought, now I need to make a video, not to come at them, just I need to put this on record so that I'm just making my position known to the ether. I'm putting it out there. Monogamy is homosexuality. They are interchangeable because homosexuals, right? And I just want to clarify that. So homosexuals, they don't have an interest in women, right? This is a true statement. Allegedly. I'm not saying they won't poke a female, but just at face value, they don't have interest in women, do they? They have interest in men, right? So why am I drawing these parallels? When you're in a relationship, you're also not interested in women. Slow it down. This isn't a trick question. This isn't a joke. When you are a homosexual, you aren't interested in women. When you are monogamous, You are not interested in women. Is it semantics there? A little bit. There's a little bit of semantics. You are interested in a woman when you are monogamous. You are obsessed. You are infatuated. You have given away every piece of masculinity you have to have sex. And yes, there are some quote unquote benevolent traits which you can attribute to monogamy, like you're looking after someone, you're providing and protecting. But is this really the case? Because I think a lot of you guys in relationships, a lot of you gumps, you're only in that relationship, you're only monogamous because you can't leave now, you're tied in. You already got a child, you already got a ring on your finger, you already signed that devil's deed, you signed that Faustian bargain, you signed that contract, you signed your soul over to the gynocracy, to the femiurge. So even if you do want to hit up an escort, even if you would like a friends with benefit and you would like a different piece of pie for the night, you can't do it because you're afraid, because it's going to hit you where it hurts, in the pocket. And you're going to lose your woman, and you're going to lose access to your kids. So you're no better than a slave. You are a slave, brother. So don't make fun of single men. I think homosexuals probably have more sex with women than some of you straight guys. They hang around a lot of Jezebels. Why do you think the relationship between promiscuous women and homosexual men, why do you think they're so close? Why do you think they have such great rapport? It's because they're one and the same. They view you men as sheep. They view you men as meat. They view you men as a survival mechanism. And there's other reasons as well. They also share the same low moral character. And that's just my opinion, right? That's just my opinion. They share the same low moral fiber as one another. Because we know that homosexual men, they tend to have the most sex on the planet and spread the most diseases, right? And who's second on that list? Promiscuous women, because they are the gatekeepers of sex. They could have sex with who they want and not who allows them. So if they have a lower barrier of entry to allow whomever into their legs, hey, it's a free world. Not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying it is what it is, YouTube. Of course they're going to allow many people to pass through that passage, that hallway, that cavernous, horrible place. So they've definitely got a lot in common. And the monogamous man thinks that single men aren't having sex. These idiots online think Mgtow men ain't having sex. Or they don't have friends with benefits. Or we're all just gremlins and trolls hiding in our basements. No, that's not the case. I think you need to have a serious look in the mirror and start to reevaluate how you take on some of this programming that's been forced into us, because there's some of it that's so hard to shake. And that's kind of why I made this video, because there is even times in the back of my mind where I'm thinking, well, if you just had a girlfriend, and that's just me being honest. Yeah, friends with benefits, fun, but what if? And I have to shut that down immediately, because it's like I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and they're all the same. It's literally a monolith. They all view you as a cash cow. They all view you as a survival mechanism. And I think, I'm going to give women credit. I think a lot of women, if they didn't need you, right? Because remember, there's only like a small percentage of masculine women that actually literally don't need a man. They make their own money. They're attractive enough to treat men the same way I'm saying we should treat women as friends with benefits. So what can we do? We can't really say nothing about them. We can only try and manipulate them and bully them by saying, oh, females need companionship. Females are group beings and all that nonsense, bruv. They can get all their needs met the same way a man can, through a pet, through social proof, through their social group, through their friends with benefits, right? They could do all of that. They don't really need us. The police protect them. If anything's wrong with their car, they go to a mechanic. And if they've got money, oh shit, they don't even need you, bruv. So we need to stop overhyping ourselves in this modern changed landscape. It's not the same anymore. It's not the 20s. It's not the 1800s. It's the 21st century. And things are hell of a lot different than they were back in the day. But I'm happy. I just wanted to get that off my chest. You guys are getting a treat, bruv. You guys are getting a treat. Salutations. But that's what I'm putting on record. Monogamy and homosexuality are deeply intertwined. And if you could leave a comment, I'm sure I missed some things. I've got more written down, but I have to be careful for the terms of service. So, you know, it might have to get to a point where I'm uploading exclusively to Rumble. I know I've said it a few times, and if I'm being honest, I tend to only exclusively upload on Rumble when I've been banned. But because I haven't been banned in so long, I'm like, oh, I don't really want to get banned now, do I? Because it's like I want to upload, I want to, you know, keep supporting you brothers, but whatever, man. But I'm done. I got enough off my chest. Sorry, I got a few bullet points that I would love to get into, but when I'm looking at them again, I'm like, yeah, they're a bit mean. But peace out, brothers, man. That's it, man. Peace.